So this topic came up a few days ago um, when I was talking to somebody else, but I decided it would be worth discussing here as well. The two websites I like the least out of all of social media are Twitter and Discord. Um, and if I were to start this off, I would say I dislike Twitter because it seems as if you can find the weirdest comments on there just publicly. Um, and there is a lot of harassment that goes on there. And I dislike Discord because a lot of times people that make, for people that don't know what Discord is, it's this website where you make servers and then you invite people in there to speak to and text or voice chats. And the biggest reason I don't like Discord is because I've seen people try to take their problems with it. So Discord will there will be an argument that starts between two people on Discord, and then someone will try to take it over to another website. Um, and I'll stand by that. I've never seen any website be the originator of, I guess, arguments or feuds more so than Discord. Because even somewhere like Facebook, right, where there's a lot of people that at one point were on there, and Instagram is the fastest growing social media website from what I've heard. But even with those places, you don't really see these types of things happen. Like I can name multiple instances where people will make YouTube videos about another person and they'll be like, well, on Discord, they said this to me. And on Discord, they did this to me. They kicked me out of their server. I've been kicked out of, I don't join servers anymore, but when I was, so like the 2016-17 period, Discord is pretty decent if you find good people. Um, Well, couldn't you say the same thing about Twitter? Because with Discord for me, once I stopped joining people's servers and like trying to play by their rules, it was a lot more enjoyable. I literally one time got kicked out of a server along with I think 70 or 80 other people on the suspicion that I was like a spy because the person who ran it was so damn paranoid that he thought everyone that came in that he wasn't, instantly familiar with was a spy for this other person. And that's the kind of like that paranoia you don't see on Twitter. You don't see anybody saying this person is DMing me to get all of my information for my arch nemesis on the computer. You don't see that. That's another problem with Discord, the paranoia and like how people are so secretive with these servers to where they actually like will be suspicious of people that join who don't even do anything wrong. They'll like be like, "Hey, I want to hear you in the VC. I want you to, I want to ask you some questions about da 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 da." I actually started speaking to a guy in one person in this other person's server, and then I joined the guy's server. So he invited me to join his server. I get in there less than 2 hours in the server. I've got some random person I've never seen before asking who is that? Why is he here? As if I just found a way to secretly plug myself in this server. Like I'm the DLC for the server. Yeah, it's just sad that these websites have turned people into being very because I've in the past been accused of being antisocial, which is BS. I prefer to speak to people that I actually like talking to, so I don't like talking to you, I won't speak to you. And it's funny that on a website like that, where people are supposed to interact with each other, they've turned just having a conversation into this antagonistic, overly combative thing. I got kicked out of a server simply because I said Superman would curb stomp Goku. No, that's not why. Yeah, non-binary. I actually went on your Discord log, and the last thing you said in that server was that the U.S. was smaller than France, so they got rid of you for geographical inaccuracies. You can try and pretend it was something else, but we know the real reason. You got exposed for not correctly measuring things in their width and size and scope. Just seeing the political social conversations, Twitter is worse by a landslide. Well, like I said, I haven't had the same level of harassment on Twitter as I've had on Discord. Like with Twitter, yeah, people might sometimes. I had one person 3 years ago come to one of my posts to like disagree with me and then block me after I wouldn't agree with them. But from what I've seen of Twitter, as bad as a lot of the stuff they write on there is, if you don't speak to them, like don't respond to them, they will leave you alone. The only thing on Twitter where I've seen that's like genuine, really creepy harassment was that guy that I mentioned on Saturday who doesn't like the guy that does the super manga, Toyotaro, and he made an entire account that's like a joke off of that guy's name to attack him with. Like his whole account is dedicated to making a bunch of screenshots about Toyotaro's art for the manga for Super and comparing them to other stuff and going, he doesn't know how to do clouds correctly. This person's head is too large. This pose has been used 5 times. No, they banned me out of no, like they suspended my account out of nowhere. Like the day before it got suspended, hours before I was still using it. And they never told me why. So the other one I use, I don't even post anything. But again, that still is that's the website being stupid versus the people that are on there. With Discord, it's literally the people acting crazy on there, and I see them do things on there I don't see on other websites. Like you would never on YouTube have somebody say, "I don't trust this person to be in my chat. I think they're a spy," because it's all out in the open. They are so paranoid on Discord, they actually try to like investigate who comes into their server. And a lot of these people that have the mentality aren't even famous. Nobody knows who they are, and they think they're being spied on. Like we have politicians that the CIA doesn't mess with, but you, a random guy on the computer, is going to have people trying to spy on you. Okay, it's very weird because you can potentially be suspended, and they can say we don't have to tell you it's our platform, and they'll let someone else get away with the same behavior. I mean, whenever you have a system where people can just get rid of you with no explanation, it's always a problem. Because let's say I worked for Twitter and I didn't like some conservatives, and I decided, go away, and I don't give any explanation. Then if they log in or try to make another account, they could make the same mistake twice of posting these things that I deemed as being evil or awful. That like you're not helping to improve the site by getting rid of somebody and then not telling them what they did that was wrong. Like as bad as YouTube can be, and I've criticized them before, um, when they have done something against a video of mine, at least they will tell me. It's not just, hey, we randomly decided this video needs to get yanked. Well, first of all, those servers being private, it's a really slippery slope because I do think people should be allowed to have a little place where they can talk to someone in like a group or just have their own server. But the idea that I guess with me, I mentioned so you saw the Discord snake video, the guy I spoke to on there that acted crazy. It's like this is the same person who would tell me that blocking somebody on YouTube is censorship, like not letting them comment on your stuff anymore. Is the same person who was defending Discord users having the right to ban you out of their server. And remember, when you block somebody on YouTube, if you're a person who makes videos, they can still watch your videos. But if you get banned out of a server, they can't see anything that's in there. So I just think a lot of the people that, I mean, like, it's funny to watch people pretend that Discord isn't the ultimate censorship website with all these private servers. I don't even know what that is. They're just like I've heard IP banning get mentioned before, but every time somebody allegedly gets IP banned, they always find a way to come back to that site. They pretend as though it's a privilege to be in their server when in reality you didn't have to join in the first place. And Discord mods act like they're so above everyone. Well, I had what's a good way of saying it? Let me respond to that first part. Well, remember, you couldn't get in their server unless they made it to where you were allowed to come in. And a lot of the people in those servers are in other servers, so it's not really there's nothing really special about it because you can talk to a lot of those people in other places. See, that's the thing that I think Discord would be a better website, as in like not cause as many problems if it were just DM chats and people, let's say, made like a group chat to talk to a bunch of people. Because ever since I stopped joining servers, except for my own, uh, and only speak to people through group chats or in DMs, it's a lot more pleasurable. There's no drama, there's no nonsense, and that's just a thing that happens when you have more people somewhere. That like there's a higher chance of drama coming out of it because you can't control how all these different people act. Now the mods are hilarious. They really act like somebody had to join their server. If you don't follow these rules, you will be banned. It's funny too because if I count the ratio of servers that I've left voluntarily slash been banned from, it's like 3 to 1. Like it more often than not, if I go out of a server, especially in the last 2 years, 3 years, it's always me leaving it. Like I can only remember being removed from 2 servers and then like leaving 10 or 15 other ones. Because I just got sick of that website. Like as long as I have that person being able to dangle whether I get to sit in their crap or not, I'm good. Hell, one of the things I think would be really beneficial is if somebody made a server and then made everybody a mod so nobody could ban anybody. I would say make Discord public, but give people more power to decide what server they want to join. Well, they already can decide what server they want to join. Um, and again, you're on a slippery slope where do you have it to where people can't see what's in these servers until they join, or do you just have everything seen to everybody? Because I think when you aren't able to have a little private place to talk to people that you want to speak to, it does create issues. And really, the server banning stuff, while annoying, still isn't my biggest problem with that website. Like, there's a lot of weird behavior that goes on over there. Like, I'll never forget when this was during my first month on Discord. There was a user that was in the server I was in, and she accused me of asking her a question that made her uncomfortable. Now, I will do a video if you don't believe me where I screenshot this question because I know I'm not going to be believed when I say what it is. The question I asked her that made her so uncomfortable, the question I asked her that made her want to like run to the mods as if we're second grade students in a classroom was, what are your interests? That was the question that made this person freak out and have a panic attack. Now, of course, when you ask what somebody's interests are, you're talking about hobbies, things they like to do. And I've asked other people that, and that's the only person I've ever seen who like thought that was some uncomfortable thing to be asked. And the mods ran with it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" No, I literally there was one server I was in where I spoke to 2 chicks and I was accused of like purposely seeking out female users. I said, wait a second. I've only DM'd like what 4 or 5 people in here, and most of them were men. What are you talking about? But again, when you're a chick, you get the special privilege of like, you shall not DM me. It's because her feelings were hurt. Her feelings were hurt by me asking her what your interests are. Seriously, that's something I ask pretty much any person I try to speak to, and that's the only time and only instance where someone has been like off put by. I asked somebody that yesterday, and they told me what they did. So I'm not gonna. I won't be, you know, hornswoggled into believing that that was some kind of inappropriate thing because it wasn't. For me, neither, but I always hated Instagram, just mindlessly scrolling through people's filtered highlight reels of their lives. Again, Instagram really isn't a problem for me. Like people will point out, oh, they have chicks that make money by posting nasty pictures. It's like that's not something that bothers me because it's not affecting me and I'm not participating in it. Like when I say that which one is the worst, I'm talking about my experiences with them. And Instagram isn't really that great, but I don't think it's any worse than either of those two in the title. It wasn't appropriate, but they probably didn't like your tone. It's such an innocent question. Yeah, I've been asked the same thing by people who were trying to, I guess, get to know me. It's just such a, like I said, if you don't believe that that happened, I will go in I still have the message. I'll go in my DMs and scroll all the way back to the beginning of when I logged on to that horrendous app or website, and you can see it. Oh, let me tell you about another thing that happened. This was also comedic. So the person whose server I joined after meeting him in another person's server, um, one of the rules that his mods had put in there, not him, was that you are not to like harass any of the female users, right? That was one of the rules in the server. I kid you not. My first hour in that server, a female user comes in the VC and says, "Would you guys like to hear me moan?" And I was bewildered. I said, "How do you imagine having rules that are meant to protect you, and then you try to like encourage people to break them?" By the way, I ended up, yes, the exact day I joined the server, within the first 50, 60 minutes I was in there, I read the rules, came in the VC, and then she came in there talking about, "Do you want to hear me moan?" Asking the various men that were in there that. By the way, I later saw what she looked like. I was not impressed. And as a person who's approached over 90 women, that should tell you my standards aren't exactly horrendously high. So, like I said, people are very lucky. I'm not like the people who harassed me. Like if I put up pictures of what some of these people look like, absolutely mind blowing. But at the same time, I really am not that surprised. I was just shocked by how quickly it happened. You go in this server that's by this person you like speaking to. One of the rules is don't harass any of the female users. And within your first hour, this person comes in the VC asking if you want to hear her moan. Imagine if there was a rule like don't harass any of the men in this server, and I came in there talking about, do you guys want to hear me do some erotic noises? It would be the same thing. There's a rule designed to protect you, or at least it's supposed to do that. It's not doing a good job of it. And then you try to like skirt around it and get people to break it. No, I had her muted. That was another thing I liked about those group VCs. I'd have like 2 or 3 different people muted. So I don't want to hear your voice. I want to hear you moan. I don't even want to hear your voice. Seriously, if I did put up her picture, it would be really funny to just watch the reactions. But like I said, I'm not like the people who harass me online. I don't try to expose somebody or mock them at their expense. So I won't do that. What's wrong with people? People claim harassment when they're uncomfortable with a certain situation. That's so weak. I just think it's funny that on Discord, when I first signed up, I had a broad like accuse me of making her uncomfortable by asking her, "What are your interests?" And then like a couple of years later, you have a broad who in a server where they're trying to protect chicks asks the men if they want to hear her moan. The mods should have just banned her like how they ban innocent users on there for kicks. Well, she was friends with the mods and they made excuses. Like I brought that up. I said, wait a second, how do you have this rule, but then you have someone who tries to get the people it's directed at to you know, not follow it. And they're like, oh well, she was just playing. And one of the mods admitted that she had actually moaned for him before. So it's like, what how is this a joke? She sounds like she was trying to get people banned. She would say something like that and then run to the mods crying wolf, saying they've been harassed. These kinds of women are malicious. Oh, by the way, in that same server, that same chick I just mentioned, one of the users that was in that server, I guess liked her and then got mad at her because of something she did. So he ended up making, I think, 2 videos on her in a day and then got rid of them the next day. He's like, she used me. I thought she cared about me, but she didn't. It's like they really, Discord is really like a prototype soap opera. Will this woman reciprocate his interest? Find out tomorrow on his video. Damn, and yeah, so stupid. No, one of my favorite things about that particular server was they had a bot that if you type in a YouTube video's link, it would play the video. And we would be sitting in the server speaking about something, and then all of a sudden somebody would play like monkey noises or giraffe sounds or some other animal, and you'd have to mute it. And then you, if depending on the person's computer, you could still hear it from one of them. Yeah, gender privilege is real, like false. I don't even want to say that word. I'm trying not to get demonetized. No, there's a lot of false accusations. I'm just saying when I see things like that thing that happened with that broad where asking them what are your interests is considered something that makes them uncomfortable. That's why I said I don't understand what the point is of talking to chicks if all they're there to do is get you in trouble or be used by other people to attack you. I don't see what good they are as far as like actively going out and trying to speak to them. Because think about it, I would never, if I were to claim somebody was making me uncomfortable, I would tell them directly because it has happened a few times. Some of these chicks write stupid stuff, but I'm not attempting to, what's a good way of saying it, lower someone else's reputation or get them in trouble because they, asked or said something that, they might not have thought was that big of a deal. But again, that's just another courtesy I give them and I don't receive in return. Have you heard of Twitch and banning of certain words? I personally don't really use them as an insult, but it's funny when you think about it. I think it's funny that I don't use one of those romance groups names and I barely say simp. So the words that they're like telling people to get rid of, like that's a preemptive thing where I already wasn't using those words. So they took it a step further and now have made it to where they're bannable on that website. You can swear, you can curse, but don't say these words. I feel like somebody at Twitch just pulled out like Urban Dictionary one day and went crazy. They're like, all right, banning this word, banning that word. That's another website that I don't really bother that much with, but I have heard of a couple of things. Like this one person, when they got suspended on Twitch, and they have people that harass them, and they put this thing where if you donate to them, you people can see your avatar, like your profile picture. So somebody donated with like a picture of, I think, male private parts as the avatar, and they got banned right after being invited back on. So I said people are so evil. Just only that kind of stuff would happen on Twitch. Megumi, the internet can be such a weird place and causes a lot of dysfunctions, if you ask me. Yeah, good point. You can say the F word to your heart's content, but don't call someone. That's, yeah. No, that was the most screwed up. I don't even like that person. I thought that was messed up. That he just got unbanned after, I think it was months or a year or something, and then you do that to him. But again, only on Twitch would you see that happen. I know there are some people on YouTube that have that as well, that feature, but I would stay away from it because again, when you're dealing with people online, you don't know what they're thinking, and they might do something such as that can hurt you. Because I guarantee you, the person that did that has no remorse. They don't care. They're just happy they screwed with them for a day. Their mission was accomplished. Apparently, the percentage of people increased a lot when Twitch issued the ban of those words. I'm not really surprised. People like it's funny, like it feels like all these websites just impose more and more rules, and then people just they complain about them, but they still stay on there. It's like a running gag that the websites tell you can't do this, can't do that, and then you just keep finding a way to put up with it. They got all these mandates. If I had to rank them, I would say YouTube is number one, but content creators definitely have their share of gripes with the website, and Twitch is okay, but man, some weird rules. Oh, but it has some weird rules. Again, this whole title originated from me asking somebody which website was worse because out of all of the different social media websites, the ones that have caused me the most grief are Discord and Twitter. And I would say Discord more so because I wasn't on Twitter as much. Like Twitter's the only one that's actually punished me in some way. But Discord's the one where, I mean, like I'll leave a server and I'll speak to somebody who might still be in there and they'll still get asked about me 2 or 3 years later. I'm like, that is weird. I was thinking of doing a stream on that, like people and their like fascinations with you after you're not in their lives or they're seeing you anymore. They still like make all these questions and try to figure out where your whereabouts and whatnot. I had a guy who came on my stream on Saturday. Nobody noticed this, but the last time he was on my channel was like December of the year before last. And I'm like, why would you disappear for a year and then go, hey, remember me? It's weird. I joined the server where the person who was leading it sent me creepy DMs because I presented as black and got creepy white women in my DMs. Well, I don't even know what creepy means anymore. Like people will call you creepy just for sending them a friend request. Like I kid you not, the first scandal I had on Discord was DMing people and like asking them how they were doing. What a sick thing. I want to talk in the group chat. I don't want to speak to you individually. That's why I hate that website so much. Like what ordinary because again, I don't have that happen on other websites. You DM somebody on Twitter, they don't make a big thread talking about how you disturb them and they feel so weirded out. How could you try to interact with them? It doesn't happen on there. Hell, I even have somebody on Twitter give me their phone number. Oh, the word creepy takes many forms. Now you can say hi and it's creepy. I never thought I'd see the day where like a big scandal for me, like something where people as a group tried to make me ashamed of, was being outgoing, was like trying to speak to people. I never thought that would happen. I committed the cardinal sin of DMing multiple people at one time. How dare you try to speak to 7 people at once? And then this same group of people will sit there and have like, I've seen screenshots of what their DMs look like. They talk to a whole bunch of people. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like one day I came in the server. Did you know there is a scandal regarding you and DMing? I was like, what? I had one of the users try to defend me by saying, oh, maybe he's lonely. I said, you know what? If these people don't want to speak to me, you can say you're just not interested. You don't have to make a 7-person group chat to talk trash about me. Like I said, that website is the Twilight Zone personified. I shouldn't have said that. That's going to make it even more apparent that I think Discord is the worst of them all. But again, that's the kind of stuff I've never seen on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Skype. Yeah, I had DM gates. That was the big scandal of like the start of 2017. Must be 6, 7 people get upset that you are trying to speak to them by DM, and then they make a group chat talking trash about you. And then they wonder why you don't want to come back to the server. It's like, well, hell, you got mad at him for trying to. I mean, I could see if I was asking something disturbing. You ask people how they're doing. That's why I don't like computer clowns. They're the only people in the world who will take a normal thing and turn it into some like weird, stretched out, bizarre action on your part. I mean, when I got the screenshots of that, my mouth dropped to the floor. I said, are you serious? Because I've seen people do group chats about someone that is, what do you call it? Like asking perverted questions. They screenshotted where I offered to help somebody get a job. And I'm the villain. Because one of them the person for context was living in some foreign country. And I was talking about how, in being someone that was in the US because they wanted to come over here, I could assist them with, looking for some. This is again before the pandemic. I was still in school, so I didn't know how ridiculously insane it was to just get one of these people to interview you for a position. But again, the point is, when they were going through these private exchanges with me, they tried to make it seem as if there was something wrong with me for wanting to speak to people, even though the whole point of them being in that server with over 100 people is to talk to people. I don't even want to mention how that story wrapped up. For too many people online behave as such, but hey, it's not like they can, because they know they can get away with it. So no incentive for it, for them to just be civilized. But that's the thing. I stopped being in this server in 2017. And I crap you not, as late as the year before last, like 2019, early 2020, I was still getting talked about by these people. And it was so weird. Like, how does this one person who's in this server for less than a year, who we apparently didn't like, still keep getting mentioned and brought up and talked about as someone that, you want to know about the current status of? It's like, it's weird. As much as I like to see the good in people, some folks just can't mix. People don't know how to say sorry, or people are too sensitive, dishonest, manipulative, or just lack social awareness. But again, I don't understand how you can twist a person trying to talk to people as they would someone in real life into this like character assassination. I mean, imagine trying to speak to a couple of people in a server, and then they're like talking about you in some group as if you've done something to them. I was shocked. Like when I got the screenshot, because one of the users in there, I guess, was like, I guess, the Benedict Arnold, so he showed me screenshots. I was like this, I couldn't believe it. These people have the enigma of an anime villain. They think they're too good to be talked to. Apparently, I must have left some impression. You saw the guy that came on my stream hasn't spoke to me in 5 years, and is like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" I had one person I hadn't spoken to in 4 years show up on one of my streams, like, "Oh, I used to go to school with you. Remember?" I was like, yeah. Why are you here? The enigma of an anime villain. I mean, that server was anime related, so maybe they were doing their best. I don't know, Orochimaru impression. I just thought it was absolutely insane that that would even be something they would have a problem with. Like, how backwards do you have to be to where you get mad because someone's asking you how you're doing? That's why I just got tired of trying to be friendly with people online, because there's too much animosity for no reason. Especially when they're in large groups. It's like when they're in the bigger groups, they start becoming more ridiculous. Like, I actually had a man who tried to say that I was part of the one of those romance groups. Like, he was trying to attack me over the chick thing as well. We had a one-on-one conversation, and he revealed that this is several years later. He had been with some woman, and she cheated on him, and uh, it made him never want to approach women again. So he basically admitted he knew what I was talking about and its validity, but because he was with this group of computer clowns, he, didn't want to side with that position. Which again is a big part of why Discord is so appealing, because they have these group discussions and big servers with a bunch of people, and people don't want to actually have their own opinion because they're afraid they'll get ostracized. I can see why you'd feel that way. Understandable. It's because these people are antisocial losers in real life. I mean, like, I don't think about them at all. A lot of them I couldn't even remember their names. And they were still asking about me 2, 3 years later. It was so weird. And it's like, again, this isn't someone that you were friends with or that you enjoyed speaking to. This is a person you claim to hate, that you think is evil toward chicks. So like, why? What? And apparently, people, men that have that are not exclusive to him. So what interest would you have in learning what that person's currently doing? I don't think about them. I don't bother them. I don't go on their pages. Hey, what's this person up to? Who cares? You're just one of the computer clowns. A dime a dozen. I treat them with see, actual animosity and not liking somebody is supposed to come with you trying to not be around them as much as possible, not inquiring about what they're doing. Like, who looks up someone they hate? Yeah, I'm the Discord user. They never seem to forget. Told you saw the video where the Discord snake got blocked by me, and then like a year later he sent me a friend request. Like, go away, move on. You got millions of people on this website, and you're gonna try to talk to me. I'm good, or rather, I'm flattered, but no, thank you. And damn, that really is just crazy. They can't even be themselves. I just think groups tend to bring out the worst in people. Like you've heard of social pressure, um, and trying to fit in, and that's something that comes a lot when you're in a group where you think less for yourself and more in a way to where other people's opinions will be heard over your own. Euro says after 5 years, wow, I thought internet people have the attention span of 5 minutes. No, the guy that came on here 5 years later was someone I met and went to school with. We weren't even in the same grade. And then after I left that school, nothing, no attempts by him anywhere at all. And then all of a sudden he shows up, remember me? Because he needs someone to project their insecurities onto so they can feel better about their unfulfilling lives. Like I said, all the people I don't like online, I don't go on their pages. I don't look them up. I don't try to speak to them. Move on. I mean, like even with that 7 group chat, right? They made me out to be the star. You got a whole group chat to talk about. Like there is nobody on this planet who is like, not a historical figure that I'm gonna have a whole team of people talking about on any website. That is crazy. Megumi, you hate somebody so much that you and 6 other people are gonna sit and talk about them for hours. And you'll be the same one to say they're annoying, that they're nothing, but then you're talking about them hour after hour after hour while they're doing other stuff. They're not even saying anything about you. And then years after you're not talking to that person anymore, you're still bringing them up to somebody else that both of you know or that still speaks to them. Do you still talk to him? Do you still talk to him? Do you still talk to him? Of hunting someone down the internet. I don't know if I call it an obsession, but it's just a strange thing that people do. Like I can't think of anyone who I haven't seen for 5, 6, 7, 8 years that I'm like active that I just one day wake I'm like I must go and see what this person's doing. It's just weird to me. So I think we know which website won this discussion. Because on Twitter, you have some people that sometimes will respond in a nasty way to what you write, which you get on YouTube as well and on Instagram to a smaller extent. So it doesn't really seem as if there's anything like that's the thing about Twitter. It doesn't I don't have specific bad memories of being on that site. Where do I stand on Facebook? It's the new MySpace. Nobody uses that anymore. It's in the grave and it's drowning in the ground. That's all that Facebook is. But yeah, Discord like was the one website that kept screwing with me, but still letting me stay on it, along with Wikipedia. And then Twitter was the one that was like, "Nah, you're out of here," and they got rid of me. So Twitter did one thing that was like really screwed up, but then Discord's the one that just kept finding ways to be specifically obnoxious. I hate the person so much. That's why I'm going to dedicate every hour of my day letting everyone know how much I hate them. Well, look, I'm not going to toot my own horn. I don't think I was being discussed every day, but I know I was discussed for several hours one day. for DMing people and asking how they were doing. It's like I'm not gonna feel ashamed of trying to be outgoing. If you want me to talk to you, just say it. That's why I don't get it. It's like there's no one I speak to that I don't if I don't want to speak to them, I don't just say I don't want to speak to you. Especially not somebody on a computer who I've never met before. Like, why is it so hard to just say I'm not interested in talking to you? Sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings. You're not helping anything or making anyone feel better by pretending to like something. It really just shows you're a coward. Again, especially since it's someone on the computer who can't do anything to you anyway. But again, that's the same stupid website where I got in trouble for calling somebody. Well, actually, I take that back. I called this person on Discord, and because it's a chick, people always have to say you're trying to get with them. You know, you can't just be interested in speaking, God forbid. So they screenshotted me calling them and put it in the server, and then I get yanked. So you didn't get banned for breaking the rules of the server because they have nothing against trying to speak to somebody out of it. You got banned because someone else DM'd your private interactions with them, screenshotted your private interactions with them, and then posted it in there for everybody to see. Like I said, I will never forget the disgusting. As long as I remember those bad interactions with that website, I will never join another server again. I'd have to lose my memory to be interested in trying to join other people's servers. Megumi, I'm gonna ban you for asking somebody how they're doing, trying to call them, and then them screenshotting it and posting it in my server. You didn't post the screenshots. You had no way of knowing this person would do that because they didn't tell you they didn't want to speak to you. But you know, you have to pay for their decision. Stop being outgoing. Because really, that's all the implication is. You get in trouble for trying to talk to somebody. And God help you if it's a chick, because again, all they seem to be able to be used for is attacking you with. I will post the screenshots. I'd have to go into the server and then because I have the person X'd out, grab the link to their account. Nothing in anything I wrote was inappropriate or was something I wouldn't ask of a male user, for example. But again, because there's like this weird thing about trying to speak to someone, like to where that's just a bad thing for men to do now, you get punished for it. Never guess. Did he ask me if I wanted to get a bite to eat? Well, again, that even something like that would be more brazen because it's on the computer. But you literally just ask the person if they want to speak to you, and it's like made into this weird erotic thing, and it's like, all right, well, I'm good. Unbelievably unfair. You get banned out of a server for a screenshot you didn't even post. That's like, you know what that's like? That's like me working somewhere and then somebody takes a picture of me at the job and they post online. They're like, I don't know, look at this guy that's working here, how unprofessional he is. And then my employer's like, you embarrassed us on the internet. They're like, wait a second. They're the ones who posted the picture. I was just doing my job. You're fired. That's what that's like. Because it's somebody else doing something that, arouses the anger of another person, and then you get the blowback for it, even though you didn't do it. No, they didn't do that. They tried to say I was selfish for not talking to chicks anymore. Which I mean, again, like I didn't know was a bad thing to. I didn't know all these people supposedly are all like going out and helping charity. I like it's crazy how people who've barely spoken, you have never met, you just draw all of these inferences on your personality from broads. But then again, I'm the same person who had somebody write a paragraph about my character flaws from a 12-minute clip, so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they. Okay, I read that already. I always find that funny though, where they're like, "You're probably gay, but you're also gonna do things to women." So, what sense does that make? Is it like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, gay by day, straight by night? They act like I'm the Hulk or something, where he has one personality as Bruce and another personality as the Hulk. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You're gonna hurt me, and I'm just gonna leave you alone. That's me. I'm sick of you, so I'll just get out of your server. No, Discord is. I just think is an awful website, and it actually is a visually pleasing site because uh, I like its layout. I like that you can have the one-on-one calls. Um, but the people on there, they, like I said, they've just, maybe it's just my experiences, but they do things there that I've never seen done on any other website. Everyone is an expert on relationships and is a life coach, even though nobody knows all there. They don't know anything. They want you to fit into their narrative. They sum up to simplify and make you out to be some horrible person who aren't allowed to socialize with opposite sex. That's the thing. It's like you'll get mad at him for saying, I don't want to talk to chicks anymore, but then you'll also attack him over talking to chicks. So, like, I don't understand what the hell these people want. That's why I said when I do the romance video, it's the whole point of the video is it seems like broads are just a thing now that are used to attack men with. Because think about it, you get called selfish for not speaking to them, but then you're also getting like accused of harassment for talking to them. And all these conversations, since they're in text, you can see how simple interactions that don't have any sexual overtone at all are made out to be this like erotic thing. It's so weird. A lot of guys give you funny looks if you dare approach a girl in a social setting, say at a club or even at school. Most of the people on Discord are anti-social gamers. Yeah, if they have so many damn friends, why are they hanging out on that website if they're so popular? How's that one song go? Make me feel tiny if it makes you feel tall. Verbally crucify me so you and your friends can feel better about yourselves. There you go. I mean, I am Catholic, so this is part of my religion. I'll just be like that. My chain. I'll hang out for the crucifixion to continue. Let me get my crown of thorns. The only thing that makes YouTube slightly worse than those other websites is that this is the one where I've had the most people talk trash about my appearance. I use Discord for business, gaming, virtual reality. I haven't had any issues with it. Oh, well, you must be in some good servers. I mean, what do you call it, Euro, when people talk trash about the way you look? They talk trash about the way you act. They talk trash about your relationships, even though they weren't there. Being verbally crucified. I would love to get like a life-size cross and then just like put it up against my chair and just be like this for the whole stream. And then like have some rope on one arm, like make it actually look like that. Because that's all this is. They just use whatever traits they don't like to attack you with. And because it's so many different people, they'll always have a different problem with you. Yeah, I'm the new Human Torch. I'll be the third one after the one from Timely Comics and the one from Fantastic Four. But yeah, Twitter, I just can't think of that many awful things that have happened on there other than me getting yanked. That's pretty much it. And that was literally just a thing that happened one time on one day. Like, it caused me to not tweet anymore, but it still doesn't, what's the way of saying it? It still doesn't have, like, when on Wikipedia, when I got told that, my edits were so awful, that was something that bothered me for, what was it, 5 or 6 months to not edit anymore for like half a year, the longest gap between edits ever. And then when I got harassed for 2 weeks on there, when I came back, I said to hell with it permanently. Remember, that's the same website that, as they're telling you they don't need you, they are begging you for money every couple of months. We don't need Megumi, but please, we hope that he empties his bank account to help us out. Funny how that works. Well, listen, compared to Discord, Twitter is like what's a good way of saying it? If Discord was hell, Twitter was heaven. And that's not to say that Twitter was great. It was just, it doesn't have, like, again, none of these other websites have the blatant, with the exception of maybe Wikipedia, the blatant antagonism that I saw on Discord. I've never had anybody on YouTube accuse me of trying to do something inappropriate to them because I asked what their interests were. I haven't had somebody ban me from, I don't know, their server or whatever because they thought I was a spy. You would think these people actually thought the movie Spy Kids was real from how much they talk about intruders and warding off who's writing and who isn't. There's one server I was in where after I left, the guy who runs it had a user who said that he's one of the mods. He was going to start taking names of what people were not like regularly posting stuff. So now there's like a 90-day warranty on if you say something, then you get banned. It's like only a crazy person would get mad that somebody isn't writing stuff in their server. Because if you have a server that has 200, 300, 400 people, you're not paying attention to who's not writing stuff. Discord has earned the title of Pisscord, literally. Yeah, it's just a piss poor, awful website. But like I said, in its current incarnation for me, it's a lot more pleasurable because it's just me and a server that I own, so I can't get yanked. And talking to people in DMs. But its years of ridiculousness will never be forgotten. Like I've been on Discord since 2016. Last year was the first good year of Discord. It took 3 years for that website to finally not be horrendous, but it finally made it. So Discord's the only website I've ever seen where it's like this really blatant thing to, I guess, be villainized over trying to talk to chicks. Like, you don't have to write anything sexual. You don't have to write anything nasty. Just if you say hello, how are you doing? Do you want to speak? That's like evil. So I said that these websites are run by people that have lost their minds. And again, people think this is normal. It is really funny because I never thought about those two things in tandem with each other. I literally went from a server where saying hello to a woman or asking what their interests were was a bad thing to going in a server where they have a rule about talking to chicks and having one of the chicks in there ask if I want to hear her moan. Like only in the Twilight Zone could that happen on the same website in a span of what, 2 years? That's crazy. I'm trying to think what else is stupid on there. Yeah, like the spy thing is annoying, but that's not really like the worst people will do to you with that is just ban a whole bunch of people. Um, and I didn't really care about that server anyway because the guy who ran it vanished for a few days, so it was just whatever. But like those interactions with people on there have been awful. Talking to chicks is a disgrace. I mean, yeah, when their entire purpose to you is to be used to attack you, you have no reason to bother with them. Like they've literally turned the opposite sex into a weapon. Because think about it, if I went and spoke to some man and said, "Hey, how you doing? You want us to have a call?" Nobody would say I'm trying to attract him. Like what? I think people on Discord must be like extremely horny, or I don't know, they read too many fan fictions or something. Because, like I said, if you don't believe me, I can screenshot all of my interactions with broads, and none of it was anything that would even remotely look like if I was trying to get with somebody. Especially since that was during the period where I didn't even talk to any chicks, on the internet for the purpose of getting with one of them. There has never been a single instance on Discord where I've approached a woman. It's never happened. Every time that it's like made out to be some kind of sexual thing, it's because the person and then some other people who weren't there try to act like saying hello is asking somebody to go on a date when it isn't. He tried to have a call with me. How's the weather in XYZ? How dare you? Even in groups that are actually used for so-called dating servers, they have such ambiguous, over-the-top verification procedures. I remember hearing some guy who tried to speak to a chick on there, and the chick ran to a mod to get them yanked because they tried to speak to them. Yeah, I never would have thought this many people would get mad from you just trying to talk to them. Like, god damn. Like, I seriously, ever since that happened, I don't make any attempts to talk to people on these websites anymore. Like, I'll go into VC when I used to join servers, and I would, maybe say one or two things in there. But as far as trying to understand people on the individual level, because I still prefer one-on-one discussions. Like, why do I need to always have a conversation? I have the majority of my conversations be among some group of people. When you call your mother or your brother or your father or some relative or friend of yours, it's not 6 or 7 people listening in on it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why someone would prefer to just speak one-on-one, and they act like you're doing that for some nefarious purpose. And this is a fact. Most calls are one-on-one. So like they've turned this normal thing, right? Having a one-on-one call with somebody into a strange, bizarre feature of yours. Like, I'm done. Told you that website made everything awful. Like any normal thing you could think of, they found a way to spin it into being, some villainous act by yours truly. You need the queen's and her loyal subjects' permission. I just don't understand it. Why something so simple would be made out to be a you know attempt at courting somebody. It's got to be a sexual call. Can't just be calling to have a friendly chat, etc. And it's even funnier because I can actually show multiple screenshots of people saying they enjoyed speaking to me. So it's like, what? Like, what is this? According to a goof, you are a homosexual if you call them one on one. Oh, that was my favorite thing. So one of the people I was in the server of before I joined their server, we would have one-on-one calls to each other once or twice a week. And I didn't think anything of it because I speak to other people twice a week or sometimes more than that. And these calls sometimes be an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And after I joined their server, they don't have the calls anymore. And they try to make it seem as if having one-on-one calls is a gay thing, even though they willingly, remember, I didn't hold a gun to their head, participated in these one-on-one calls regularly for months. Between April to I think it was September, one-on-one calls. And all of a sudden, when you join the server, I don't understand why you always want to speak in one-on-one calls, even if you explain it to them. So I said that that website has made everything normal into a villainous act. Yeah, I don't roll that way. Neither do I. Talking to a woman, sexual harassment, automatically you're labeled as a misogynist. Well, like I said, the philosophy on Discord is really contradictory. That if you try to talk to a woman, they get upset with you and they try to like accuse you of trying to get with her, no matter what you actually said. But then if you say, okay, I'm not going to talk to any of them, oh, you're selfish. So it's a situation where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And who wants to be involved with that? Again, in my video tomorrow, I'm going to mention how the whole point of relationships is that they're supposed to be, if they're, like not like with your boss or somebody else, but they're supposed to be something you enjoy. So if to speak to somebody, you have to get accused of trying to get with them, even if you've done nothing to indicate that. If to speak to someone, you have to go to the gym. If to speak to someone, you have to own some inordinate amount of money. What is enjoyable about that? I'm actually going to like argue that when they say stuff like that, it's not even romance advice. It's some sort of weird strategic simulation. Because all they're doing is like taking it from how does this person appeal to you? Do you like this person, to do this, do that, do that, do this, do this, do this. And that'll be funny if like from this point forward, all the romance videos have the title strategic simulation. Like we actually get rid of that word. Oh my God. I'm really tempted to do that. Like every time there's a romance video after this, it's strategic simulation. That's the new title for romance content. Oh my God. And again, the joke would be that that title originates from that video. Because I really do like the script for it. I just have to wrap it up, and I'm gonna try to do that tonight. And then the editing and the rest of the stuff. But yeah, Discord just is a sick site that actually, if it's not used by people who are crazy, is pretty good. But you could say the same thing about every website. It just seems that out of all of them, the most awful encounters, like, and this is another point I wanted to make. I've been on YouTube since 2008, like as an active user. The only year I didn't post videos was 2014. So that's what, 12, 13 years. And I joined Discord at the end of 2016. So this website, in less than 7 or 8 months or a full year, right, was able to eclipse in terms of drama anything I'd experienced on YouTube. After I'd been on that site for, at that point, going on almost 10 years. And that should tell you something. And I still haven't really talked that much about all the people who have, like, they'll take Discord drama and they'll bring it to other websites. This person talked trash about me on Discord. I'm doing a video on him. If I do a video on somebody, I always make sure not say their name, cut all the stuff out. They actually make videos where they say your username and show your picture and Discord tag trying to expose somebody. I hate this person, so I want my 90 subs to hate them too. That's why I said I hate not getting credit for the like composition of the edited videos or just how I do stuff, because none of it is meant to expose another person, because I don't want them to have drama from something relating to me. But then these people don't care about creating drama for another person, and like nobody points that out. Because again, when you have people attacking you online, you don't have any good traits. You don't get praised for doing anything right. Yeah, it's sad. Like I said, social media websites are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be enjoyable. And when people like the ones I described on Discord or on them, they're not. They're just a taxing pain in the behind. And then the people who run these websites act surprised when you say that and when you don't want to sign on there anymore. Any last words, comments, inquiries, things to say? I see that Megumi went to sleep. The non-binary canary got wary and decided to vanish. They teleported like Nightcrawler. I don't like what you said to me on Discord, so I'm gonna make a video exposing you. I hope all of my subs point out how stupid I am for doing this. Again, it's one thing to vent, which is what I would consider my stuff. It's another thing to like try to cause a problem for somebody else, which is what they do. No, you went to sleep. You went on Discord to warn people about this stream. Hey, I'm gonna do you like they did me on there. You're a spy. They really make these websites sound like it's some James Bond movie. This person's a spy. They're trying to gather secret intelligence on me. So yeah, I think Discord's the worst one. I know people have had problems with Twitter in the past. Again, the only thing they ever did to me that was truly ridiculous was the suspension. And again, that's just a website having too much power, and because it's not happening to enough people, nobody cares. I only add people I know on Discord. You say that, and then you go on there, and we say that you have 90,000 friends or something. You know, it happened one time. One of my relatives where they had like 400 friends on Facebook, and they were under 18, and they actually tried to convince me that they knew all of those people. It's like, yeah, I'm not stupid enough to believe that. That's the main running theme here, is that nobody cares. They don't care enough to actually get involved with something that is affecting people on websites, but they will care enough to trash you and talk garbage and whatnot. The incentive goes right out the window. Well, Megumi, just make sure you don't try to friend request me or ask me how my day's doing. That's harassment, and I'm gonna talk about you in the group chat. And then I'm gonna screenshot what you send to me in DM so you can get banned out of a server that you didn't break the rules of. But yeah, that website is awful. I think it's better now just because, not actually as if they've improved anything, but just I don't bother being as outgoing as, and that's really, I should have called this the death of a socialite, because that website had a very severe effect on, I guess, my willingness to just go out and talk to a bunch of different people. Because what's the point? You know, unless it's for some project or some some other career means. There's really no point in speaking to people you already talked to. They do backstab and stuff like this. So thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Video tomorrow.